Welcome to another episode of Tax Sales Starters. I have with me this week Mica Coleman, who is one of our educators from the Tax Sale Finders platform. She is amazing. She has a background in tax deed investing, overages, and so much more in real estate. I'm really not doing her justice by limiting it to those two things, but you're going to learn a lot about Mica Coleman today. So I want to introduce you. Welcome to the show today, Mica Coleman. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I actually get the opportunity to talk to you. So to give you a little bit of background about myself, I do have a company called Leverage, and Leverage basically helps new beginners, people that want to start investing in tax deeds. And a lot of times people don't know the difference between that, but pretty much I like doing tax deeds as opposed to tax liens, because in tax deeds you actually get the property. So I teach everyday people how to invest in tax deeds without having to use all their money.
Wow. Okay. And where do they find you at Leverage? Is it leverage.com? How do they locate you?
They can find me on YouTube, or they can go to www.micacoleman.com.
MicaColeman.com. Okay. Well, you heard it. That's where you go to find out more about Mica and trainings on leverage and how to get better acquainted with the tax deed. So how long have you been investing in tax deeds, Mica?
I've been investing in tax deeds for approximately about 5 years.
And how has that been for you?
It's been phenomenal. I was just talking to one of my brokers. I've been in real estate for over 20 years. And so I've been an investor like literally half my life. And I was just telling her that I wish that I would have, concentrated on tax deeds, because I know everybody's heard of Robert Kiyosaki, and they used to have a lot of their programs. And I've invested over $100,000 worth of real estate education on top of being a realtor. Wow. And I really got into real estate to, be an investor. And I was just telling her, because she was my broker, I was like, a lot of people think that they have to have their real estate license or they need to take all these courses. And you really don't need to do that. And I was just explaining to her, I wish I would have dived in more on the tax deed back then. I think I would have been a lot further ahead in life, and I probably would not have spent so much money, had so many gray hairs from doing all the things that were quote unquote popular. Because I feel like, back then and still now, people always come to me and say, well, what about foreclosures, or what about fix and flip? And I'm like, I've done all of that. And when I tell you tax deeds is so much simpler, and I don't even know why they wouldn't push that more for new beginner real estate people than they would the other ones, because fix and flips involves, even though it's a high reward, there's high risk. It involves a lot of capital, a lot of upfront requirement of your, money. It's high risk. So you're leveraging a lot in hopes to get something great. And then, buy and hold, you definitely have to have a job. You have to have good credit. There's so many things that go into different strategies of investing, where I feel like tax deeds, pretty much anybody could get in it and acquire property at a reasonable amount of property. I, on my YouTube and on Facebook, I videotaped an auction I was at in Oklahoma. And tax deeds were opening up at $14.66. And so I did that just to say that, and there were tax deeds that went for $600,000, but I did that because I want people to know that anybody can do this business, and you don't have to worry about financing. You don't have to worry about hard money. You don't have to worry about any of those other things that, the real estate industry, when it comes to investing, require. So I just feel like, tax deeds is so much simpler. I brought six lots. I think 2 of them have houses I probably need to bulldoze down. But I did the comps on them. I could sell one piece of land and it's going to pay off all the other ones that I bought.
Wow.
It's simple.
So Mica, you're not just someone who's read a book or talking about tax deeds. You're actually out there doing it. And I can actually confirm that, because I spend a lot of time chasing you down because you're always on a plane going somewhere and it's hard to find you. And today you're where? You're in California,
I'm in
correct?
California,
Oh
yes.
my gosh, you're just all over the place, Mica. You're just doing it. And so, uh, really quick, if someone wanted to get started in tax deeds, what would you say to them? What would be the words you give them?
I would tell them first. I and this is I always want to do this disclaimer because I feel like we're all different learners. We all learn differently, right? So I'm only going to tell you how I learn, and how I learn. I'm more of an action person. I'm not the type of person that's going to read a book and then, write it down. My sister is. That's why we have a good balance. So I only can tell you from my perspective, and I'm a visual and I'm a hands-on learner. So from my perspective, I think the first thing I would tell someone to do is, kind of get a book just to get the gist of it, the idea of it. But there'll be two things. I would say register for an online auction just so you can see, or like Tax Sale Resources does have like a really good platform where you can actually see all the auctions that are going on. I would say that's one place, just if you're just trying to look to get a feel of what's out there. But if you really want to dig deep and you want to dive in, I would say go to your local auction just to get an
Mm,
idea of like how everything's played out, what's going to sell. So that you can actually, because sometimes people don't really believe that it's real. Like they're like, okay, what is this? Or they think it's like a foreclosure, but it's actually it's tax deed sales. So I would say do that first. I always would suggest having a mentor. I've been looking for a mentor. I haven't really found anybody, but I always say too, experience is your best teacher, you know.
wow.
So
Wow.
like I said, I've been doing this for like 5 years, and I went to Oklahoma and was blown away. Like I learned so much stuff that like I don't think a book could have taught you. I met a
Mm,
90-year-old guy that just gave me so much game, and then his 70-year-old son, and they were like, "Yeah, we've been doing this for like over 50 years," and they were giving me so much game. That stuff you can't learn that in a textbook.
right, right. You got to get out there and you got to get involved in it. Sounds like the mantra,
Yeah.
right? And I think I've heard this. I have my experience in tax deed, but um, every state is different. Is that true?
I mean, not only is every state different, but every county within that state is different. As you probably know, Carlton, when we first met actually through your Facebook page, I told you I moved to Texas just to do tax deeds, and here I am doing them everywhere. But even in Texas, I don't know if I put that post up either, but I was in Grayson County. Now, mind you, I've been heavily in Tarrant, Collin, in Dallas, even though Dallas didn't have any last year, but they're pretty good this year. All of them do them different, but they're all in the same state. And I went to Grayson County, and they don't verify anything. They just
Mm,
literally give you a piece of paper and write a number on it. And then they're like, we take all payments. We take credit cards, cash, cashier's check. Yeah. So like, I was like, what? You take credit cards? They're like, we take everything. And this was in Grayson County, but this is Texas. Mind you, I have been dealing with Tarrant and Collin and Dallas, and you have to have either a cash or a cashier's check. And you have to register, you have to pre-register. So there was all these processes, but in Grayson, it was just like, oh, you want to, no ID, nothing. You just sign your name and email, and they give you a number.
wow, wow, wow. Mica, it is such a pleasure to have you here and to talk with you and get some background on you as one of our experts for tax sale finders. You're in tax sale resources. You're amazing, and I can't wait to have you back so we can interview you. But I will tell all of those who are watching, hit the notification bell so you can keep up, because we're going to be doing these little highlighted features with Mica, and we're going to try to just absorb as much information from her. So if you have questions that you want to ask those questions. We'll pitch them to Mica and bring Mica back and have Mica answer those questions for you so that you can continue growing in your investments and with tax deeds. So Mica Coleman. Again, you can find Mica Coleman at micacoleman.com. She has leverage, and she also does a thing in overages. And oh boy, wait till we get a conversation on that thing with Mica. That's going to be a whole nother story. So, Mica, thank you again. And you did say that the audience can find you on YouTube and on Facebook. All I got to do is look you up. And again, they should be able to find you at micacoleman.com. You see it here at the bottom of the screen. Just go there and you can get in contact with Mica, and she's always willing to help. Mica, thank you for joining us today at Tax Sale Starters. It's been amazing talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.